Hello everyone, I hope you all are good, doing well. So today we are here to complete one of the important theme with respect to our UPSC examination. So today we are going to cover US sanction on Russian oil. So in this lecture we are going to look in detail what all kind of a challenges this sanction can create for India. And apart from that we are also going to look the way forward in order to tackle this kind of a challenges. So if we look at the India's present economic situation, we are seeing India is already struggling with the slowing down of GDP growth. And apart from this slowdown of GDP growth, India is having a rising inflation. Because of this rising price in the commodities, there is a squeeze in the household budget. And another challenge which India is facing, that is weakening of rupee. India is a country which import more than what it export, and if this weakening of rupee further deteriorate, it will further increase the cost of imports, and if this cost of import will increase, it is directly going to increase the inflation, and this inflation is directly going to slow down the GDP growth. So this all have a direct link with each other. Another challenge which India is facing, that is declining corporate earning. So the next subtopic which we are covering, that is new US sanction on Russia. So here we can see that USA has sanctioned Russian oil producers, and because of this it's directly or indirectly preventing India from purchasing this companies. There are 183 oil tankers that has also been blacklisted by the USA, and USA has further warned for the secondary sanction. So what is this secondary sanction? Let's try to understand. So we are seeing here there are three countries in the today's lecture. We can see there are three countries in the picture. One is USA, another is Russia, and the third one is India. Suppose this sanction came into the surface and India, after this sanction also, India purchase oil from Russia, then US is going to penalize India because of its deal with the sanctioned entities. So this kind of a situation is said to be secondary sanction, and US has warned to use this. So there is a one word which I saw in the newspaper, but I forget to put in the slides, and the word was shadow fleet. Why I am mentioning this word? Because we have seen UPSC has asked once a question with the keyword, that is WTI, that is West Tax Intermediate, and the question was this WTI is related to which sector, and that was related to the crude oil. So here again this word shadow fleet, let's understand what is this shadow fleet. A shadow fleet consists of vessels that operate secretly. So this vessels, they try to avoid detection and regulation, and these ships engage in the activities somehow that violate international sanction, such as transporting oil from sanctioned country, be it Russia, be it Iran, be it Venezuela. So this shadow fleet is a term which I request you to have in your mind while preparing for your examination. So here now we are seeing that India dependence on Russian oil. If we look the scenario before Russia-Ukraine war started, so at that time India's import was not much dependent on the Russian oil. Why? Because the price of the barrel was very competitive, whether India is purchasing from Middle Eastern countries or the Russian countries. But once this Russia-Ukraine war started, it has like the Russian company, oil producing company, has reduced its cost. And because of this reduction in the crude oil price, India has shifted its dependence towards Russia. And currently we can see around 40% of India's crude oil is imported from Russia. So this is the dependence on Russian oil of India. So if because of this sanction, there is a possibility of increase in the purchasing power of this crude oil. So what are the alternatives to Russian oil? So I already mentioned before Russia-Ukraine war, India was purchasing from the Middle Eastern countries. So India can still explore further alternative to alternative from Middle Eastern countries. Apart from that, South American producers also has potential to supply this crude oil for India, and USA is another option for India to source crude oil. So these are the alternative which is available to India. So next we are seeing this economic consequence of oil price increase, like higher oil price. So I already explained that India is facing rising inflation. So this is going to further infuse inflation in at domestic level. Apart from that, there would be a policy constraint. How? Like if there will be the further rise in a oil price, because of this RBI is not going to reduce the repo rate, and if RBI is not reducing the repo rate, that means bank are not going to provide interest or a loan at lower interest rate, and because of this people are not going to have loan from the banks, and if people are not having loan, they are not going to much circulation of money in the economy. So this is how it will create a kind of a constraint on policy also. The third point which we can see, that is reduced consumption. The higher price will lower the consumer spending. We have seen how this has connection directly with each other. The next we can see China versus India. So if we look at India, we are seeing the 40% dependence on Russian oil. But if we look after China, we can see China has diversified its purchasing. So China is not being dependent on one country in order to purchase the crude oil. So we can also look this kind of a alternative in our policy. The next point which we can see here, can Russia war resolution help? Why this point came? Because recently we have seen Donald Trump is going to be into the power as a head of government in USA, and we have seen the relationship of Donald Trump and Putin. He is the head of Russian government. So their relationship is a bit of friendly. So even before coming to the power, Donald Trump has said that he is going to provide a resolution with respect to Russia-Ukraine war. So let's see what will happen in future once he will assume the power. So here now we are going to the way forward, what all India can do in order to tackle this kind of a sanction in at present, also in future. So India can explore alternative, like India can import or oil from different sources also, which you have seen that Middle Eastern countries, South American, or be it a US. Next we can see India can also have certain, India has to take certain step in order to mitigate the impact of rising crude oil and like its impact on the inflation as well as on GDP. So what India can do, India can further invest in the research and development. India can look after the further alternative, be it use of ethanol. India can also emphasize on the use of renewable energy, be it wind energy or solar energy. So these are the further way forward which India have to look. Apart from that, India has to engage with US very diplomatically. Like India should engage with USA in order to seek or in order to minimize this fallout of secondary sanction, which US has warned that if the country is going to engage with the primary sanction country, it is going to put secondary sanction. So this is how India can these all steps this all step can be taken by government in order to mitigate this kind of a sanction, or in order to further emphasize or further look on the economic growth of India. So I hope this lecture I hope you would have understood a bit. So I am ending this lecture here. I hope to see you soon. Till then, take care. Thank you.